October 19th, 2023. The day every coach lied. Welcome, guys. My name is DK. We'll be breaking down the preseason finale 7-game slate on Friday. I can't even begin to describe the pain I'll be in if any coach lies today. But before we do, if this is your first time watching, cover content for NBA, NFL, daily fantasy sports, player pop stuff like Prize Picks, Underdog, and Parlay Play. If you guys are not on Parlay Play, you can use the link down below for a $100 deposit match bonus. They do have NBA props, NFL, college, MLB, all that good stuff. And you can win up to 75x your money. So if you guys do want to give it a try, you can use the link down below for a $100 deposit match bonus, or you can use the code DKDFS. Help support the channel if you do sign up, so greatly appreciate that. And if you guys are looking for more content, go check out my Patreon linked in the description. Okay, man. And all right, there's a few times where I'm actually really upset, right? Last night, I was really upset. I was really, and I mean really mad. Because as we've talked about all preseason, there's just nothing that I hate more, nothing that gets me more upset than when coaches just flat out lie, right? Because there's literally, as we talked about, absolutely nothing to gain. It's preseason basketball. I'm not going to say, I'm going to play my starters as dress rehearsal and shut them down at halftime. Like, I'm not going to do that as a coach. So I don't know who these coaches think they are. I don't understand. I really don't. Let's beginning of the day, right? Player prop stuff. So I hit both my underdog plays. That was nice. Prize Picks. Get done taking my Prize Picks plays. Took Vooch over points that hit Kobe White over points that hit. Paul George obviously did not play. And then I had THT. I take his under points, 13.5. Literally 10 minutes later, all the Jazz starters besides him get rolled out. Can't make that up. I have Trevor Lawrence under fantasy score, right? Career high in rushing yards with an injured knee to hook me there. Wild stuff there. So that was just beginning of the day. I had the THT tilt. Trevor Lawrence thing really made me upset. And then this, man. And this is what I said, man. You can't do this. Christopher Finch. You can't do this. Because the main guys will be back on Thursday. They'll stretch the minutes out close to regular season rolls. So I see that. I originally have Josh Giddey as a core option for me. Then I see the Thunder quote of Dagnall says, hopes to play the starters in the second half, but it's not a guarantee. Looking at that, I'm like, okay, well, I really like Giddey without SGA, but if he has a chance to only play a half, it's just not worth it, right? So I pivot. I'm like, all right, you know what, guys? Let's pivot from Josh Giddey to Anthony Edwards, right? We have close to regular season role for the Timberwolves. There's no Karl-Anthony Towns. Fire up Anthony Edwards, right? Any reasonable person would do that after seeing both those quotes, right? What happens with the Thunder? About 30 minutes for Giddey and an absolute smash, right? Pivot to Anthony Edwards. He's done at halftime. He's done at half. Okay. Yeah. Right? And I saw so many sharks taking Anthony Edwards over PRA and over points, and they get punished for it too. They don't deserve that either. You're on top of the news. You're a shark, and you get punished by a coach just flat out lying. Again, it's just why, man? I pivot from Giddey to Anthony Edwards. Giddey plays like almost the whole third quarter. Ant done at half. That's close to regular season rolls. Incredible stuff. How about the Suns? Frank Vogel, high 20s to low 30s minutes. I played Kevin Durant on the late slate, right? No Booker, no Beal. He's done at half. He's done at half. Okay. Yeah. Again, what do you have to gain? What do you have to gain from lying? The Lakers, they're going to run a dress rehearsal through 3 quarters. LeBron and AD play like 2 minutes in the second half. There's a lot else, too. Celtics, the starters are expected to play in the fourth quarter. They're done at half. The Hornets, LaMelo Ball, he's not going to play more than 25 minutes. Plays like 30 minutes. Again, coaches just can't trust a word coming out of their mouth. And again, there's Billy Donovan. There's starters are expected to play the whole game. Barely play the fourth quarter. The Bulls. I mean, just absolutely incredible stuff. And then the Jazz really tilted me too, man. I said THT, Sexton, and Kessler, right? They're actually rotation players. I was like, all right, I think there's a chance they could be shut down half, kind of like we saw with Bam the other night. So I was torn on what I want to do with THT, end up pivoting off. So I'm like, you know what? I just can't take only a half. He comes back and plays the whole game, man, at giga high ownership. It just... Again, high stakes got filled, so I entered low stakes, and I literally missed by like a point in tournaments. Oh, Bones Highland, half the field fades, he gets injured. I know he had close to 52, but again, if he just gets a few more, I cash. Injured, he's done for the day. Like I said, I pivot from Giddey to Ant. Anthony Edwards done at halftime. DeRozan came to himself. How do you go for sub 20 fancy points without Levine? Someone needs to do an investigation on that and tell me how that's possible. No Zach Levine, starters dress rehearsal, and he goes for sub 20 fantasy points to bail out the faders. Porzingis, again, was expected fourth quarter minutes. Absolutely no way. No way, man. Mark Williams, again, I thought there was a chance he would play the fourth quarter, and then Davion smashed, Veskanev smashed, and Vucevic smashed, but again, I honestly did not have the energy to tilt last night. I was so upset. So upset. So that's a recap, guys. Let's pray that we don't have any coaches lying for absolutely no reason today. So we'll start off with Atlanta. So for Atlanta, Quinn Snyder said that there's a chance we see the full starting lineup. He said there's a chance you might see that. Now, we don't know about the minutes. They have been taking it very easy in the starters' minutes throughout the preseason. Like, a lot of the main guys are only playing a half. I would say you should probably realistically expect at least a third quarter from the starters here for the Hawks, which makes them all solid plays. Trey, DeJounte, Capella. I don't know, like DeAndre Hunter. And then the fifth starter, I'm not sure exactly where they can go. They can go a few different ways. They can go Bay. They can go Johnson. I think they're Bogdanovich even in there. But yeah, at the top, I mean, Trey obviously has the higher ceiling. Murray at that price point maybe a little bit safer, can do a little bit more of the peripheral stats. But again, both are decent options there. The front court is fine. Capella, Okongwu, again, don't really have any strong takes there. So none of the secondary plays really stand out here for Atlanta, but again, hopefully we'll get some clarity on how much exactly they're going to play. For the 76ers, so James Harden is not expected to play, unlikely to play. Embiid is at shoot-around, so I expect him to play. Now, how much does Joel Embiid play is the question. I think there's a chance maybe he only plays a half, but we'll see. Maxey is also back. He got injured last game, which really, really tilted me too. But yeah, Embiid at 10-4. If you're confident he plays into the third quarter, obviously you can, consider him. I think Maxey is probably your best overall play in the 76ers. Even with Embiid back, he's still a guy that's going to chuck when he's out there. Melton had a huge game. Like Melton, Oubre, Tobias all did really well with Maxey getting injured early last game, but I'll be a little bit careful with these guys in their performance last game, especially with Embiid most likely in. They're all secondary plays. Paul Reed will back up Embiid. Not a ton here for value that I love for the 76ers. Move on to Cleveland. For Cleveland, the expectation is the starters are going to get a dress rehearsal for the first 3 quarters. Again, can we trust coaches? I don't know. But, I mean, Mitchell, Mobley, Garland, Allen. I believe Jared Allen is still... we'll keep an eye on Jared Allen. I guess there's a chance he could play, but I think there's... we'll monitor the status there. As far as the other starters go, I mean, Garland at 6'6" and Mobley at 6'8", I think are both like good point per dollar plays, right? Especially if they're going to run a dress rehearsal for the first 3 quarters. So I think you can expect mid to high 20s minutes, right? But I think those two are very safe. The ceiling is the highest on Mitchell, but he's a lot more expensive. Max Strus is your other starter. Like, I'm okay with him. He's relatively score independent, but he's a cheap value that's viable. And I'm curious where they go with the fifth starter. They can go to LeVert. If LeVert starts to like him, they could go, I mean, they started Damian Jones one game. They could go to Okoro. So assume if Jared Allen is out. Like I said, we'll keep an eye on that. For the Pacers, I haven't seen anything definitive, but I am expecting at least what we saw last game of minutes into the second half. So Halliburton at the top, obviously a good option. You could afford him. Turner, Mathurin, Hield, all kind of just there for me. Don't love him, don't hate him. Bruce Brown is a cheap starter that I think is in consideration at 4.7K. Off the bench, a couple guys I'll mention. Jalen Smith, 4.2. Jarris Walker's been getting big minutes off the bench at 4.1. I think Obi Toppin is pretty safe. He's another starter, and he's cheap. So I think he's a pretty solid value play. Washington and Toronto. So Kuzma missed last game. We'll keep an eye on that, on his status. But if he misses, Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole both look really good. Poole went crazy last game. Again, I played him, but it didn't matter because I had Josh Richardson, who got injured in the first 2 minutes to end my night. But those two would look really good. Tyus looks good either way, but he's going to look better if there's no Kuzma. So 2 guards I'm very, very high on. They took it easy on Denny Advia's minutes in his first game back. So unless we hear that he's getting a minutes bump, I probably can't do that. Gafford at 4.6 is a solid option. You saw Dusty Mike Muscala randomly go off last game. I'm going to have the fish chase that one. Koulibaly's been getting good minutes, and he can do the peripheral stats. I think he's a pretty safe value play. Off the bench, I guess Gallinari's okay. I don't love that. So, again, Kuzma will be the big news to monitor there for Toronto. So, we did see starters played in the fourth quarter last game, and Jakob Poeltl is expected to play. So, unless we are otherwise, I'm expecting similar minutes for these Raptors, and they're all relatively cheap outside of Siakam. So, Siakam, if you have the salary, I think is fine. 31 minutes last game, 22 points, 5 boards, 3 steals. Scotty Barnes is 7-4. Again, he's going to take a big step up this year without Fred VanVleet. He had 22.6 boards, 3 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals. Again, he's just that stat sheet stuffer type player. So, I think he looks really good in the mid-range. OG's fine. I would rather get to Scotty Barnes. Also, Jakob Poeltl is back. Again, I expect decent minutes for him. It was just an illness, so I think he's a very good value play. Gary Trent's going to come off the bench, and Chuck Schroeder, another starter that I think is a pretty good value play, right? Especially if he sees fourth quarter minutes. I like Schroeder. This is going to be the game that Boucher smashes. We know, right? All the Sharks pivoted to him last game when we got news that he was starting. 2 quick ones in the first 2 minutes and fouls out in 13 minutes to punish the best, and I mean the best daily fantasy sports players in the world that played him last slate. They get punished with massive foul trouble for no reason. But yeah, Boucher, he's still going to be that high usage, good point per minute guy off the bench. So he's going to smash here with Poeltl back and just tilt everyone. Miami and Houston. So for Miami, no Jimmy Butler, no Josh Richardson, no Jaime Jaquez, no Hayward Highsmith. Caleb Martin could make his debut. He's been out. Tyler Hero also traveling, so expect him to play. So that being said, Bam only played the first half last game, but I think that, Bam and Hero could definitely play in the second half here. If they do, I think they're 2 of the better plays in the slate without Jimmy Butler. So Hero, 7-8, Bam, 7-9. I really like both. They're just going to run the show offensively. Lowry expected to be back. I think he's a reasonable value play. And then we'll keep an eye on what they do with the other starters. Jamal Cain's been playing really well. Again, I'm like, it would be probably Bam, Hero, Lowry. I don't know where else they're good. It depends on if Caleb Martin's available. Kevin Love also should be back too, I assume. Yeah, just for rest. So probably be Bam, Love, Hero, Lowry, and then fifth starter, Martin maybe if he plays. If not, maybe they go Kane without Highsmith. So I will mention Kevin Love too. 3.4K. He did play over 20 minutes in the last preseason game that he played. So if he starts here, I think you got to have some interest, even though he's dust. Like if you give me close to 20 minutes for Kevin Love, I think that's going to stand out as a pretty good value play. All right, Houston. So Houston is supposed to be a dress rehearsal. Okay, Ime Udoka, man, this guy's been flat out lying every single day. So you want to trust this? I don't know. It's up to you. But they're planning for a dress rehearsal. Now Jalen Green and Tari Eason are guys that are actually a bit banged up. So we'll see if they end up playing. Everyone else expect to play. VanVleet was just a rest last game. So Şengün, back-to-back, my boy, back-to-back, kind of tough games for him, but still a guy that is playable. VanVleet, Jabari Smith, obviously solid options if they play in the fourth quarter. If Jalen Green's out, we'll see how they do the starting lineup. They've been going a couple different ways there. Let's see, what else? Whitmore had a really good game last game, but again, the starters are expected to be back. I'll let the fish chase that one. Lando, he'll play the backup 5, so I think he's a solid value. Dylan Brooks should be back as well. I think he's a decent value play. So, again, those would be the 4 starters. Van Fleet, Şengün, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, and then Jalen Green if it's available. If not, they can go a lot of different directions. They could, throw Dusty Reggie Bullock in there. They could throw Jayshawn Tate. They could do a lot of things. So, I'm out of the starting lineup. For Memphis, I haven't seen anything on the Grizzlies, but I think that we should expect at least what we've been getting, which is minutes into the third quarter for these main guys. So Bane at 8-4 and Triple J at 7-3, I think are 2 really good plays. Again, without Ja Morant, they run the show offensively. Also, Marcus Smart is expected to be back. I don't know how much he's going to play in this game. So unless we get clarity that he's full go, I probably can't do that. But yeah, I think Bane and Triple J, both good options. I mean, Steven Adams is always kind of there for me. He's fine. I don't love a lot of these secondary plays. We'll see what they do with the other starters. Again, or the other starter should be Marcus Smart, Bane, Triple J, Adams. 5th starter could go a few different ways here. So, but yeah, let's move on to Milwaukee. So Milwaukee, we do have news that Chris Middleton expects to play alongside Giannis, Dane, Brook Lopez. So it sounds like they're going to be full go. Now, I haven't seen anything definitive on minutes, but I would assume that they played in the second half. We have seen Giannis play in the second half now, back-to-back games. So I'm expecting at least that. With that being said, I mean, I think you've got to really like Giannis if you can afford him. I mean, this is Giannis Antetokounmpo. We saw Jokic shit in 3 quarters. He went for 50. So, yeah, I think Giannis looks really good there. I will mention, too, Triple J, I said I like him, and he's cheap. But you know that Triple J is probably on Giannis a good amount, and Triple J is super foul prone. So I'll just mention that. Dame at 10-1, I can't do that. I'll just give me Giannis over Dame all day long. Again, Middleton is expected back. We'll see about his minutes. I could see him seeing limited minutes. The front court, Lopez and Portis are fine. Kind of hard for me to get to value with all the main guys playing, though. Detroit's kind of the big question mark for me. I don't know what to do with them. It's a back-to-back. I haven't seen any clarity on it. So, Cade at 6'6 does feel a little bit cheap. Thompson has been playing big minutes at 6'3. I think he's reasonable. The bigs, I mean, you have Duren, you have Wiseman, you have Marvin Bagley. Last game, Duren started and Bagley played the backup 5. But Duren is way cheaper. So, I think Duren, if he starts, is going to be a pretty good value play here at 4-5. Ivy will come off the bench and Chuck. He's 6'1", though. So, the Pistons, I mean, we could get value. It's a back-to-back. There's no Bojan, no Monte Morris. You could get a situation where they rest a lot of these guys, and then we get a lot of value with some of these younger guys. So we'll keep an eye on that. For Dallas, so no Luka, no Hardy expected. Green is expected to be back. I haven't seen anything definitive on minutes, and I don't trust Jason Kidd at all. So Kyrie Irving with no Luka and no Hardy. If he plays in the second half, I think you got to make the argument that he's one of the better spend-ups on the slate for sure, right? He should dominate the usage. Just a matter of how much does he play. And I do not trust Jason Kidd at all. The other guys are kind of just a mess. Hardaway's going to chuck when he's out there. Josh Green, Seth Curry should have a lot more usage. I think my second favorite play on Dallas probably would be Josh Green at 4K. Grant Williams should start, but we know he's not a high usage player. The big rotation is kind of a mess. I mean, they got Lively, they got Prosper, they got Dusty Dwight Powell and Dusty Rashawn Holmes. It's really disgusting big rotation for Dallas. But yeah, I'm ready to get trolled by Jason Kidd once again. And then finally, San Antonio and the Warriors. So who's ready to round out the preseason by getting popped again, right? Popovich said hopes to be a regular rotation last 2 games. Wembanyama plays less than he did the previous preseason games, right? So, I mean, if you trust Popovich at all, the starters should play into the fourth quarter here. That's what this quote was the other day. It's that close to regular season rotation last 2 games, and then just doesn't place the starters less minutes than he did before. Incredible stuff from him, man. Again, I don't understand why he's still coaching. Just retire, man. Retire. But yeah, Wembanyama, if you trust Popovich, he's right there, right? 9.8K. It's expensive, but if he plays in the fourth quarter, he is a great spend up. The other options, Paladin, Vassell, Zach Collins, Jeremy Sohan. I think Zach Collins would be my next favorite play. He's played very well. We know Zach Collins is a good point per minute guy. He's underrated too. I think Zach Collins could be in for a sneaky good year this year. So I like Zach Collins. Jeremy Sohan starting at the point guard position, I think, is a solid option as well. Vassell had a good shooting game, and he's kind of scoring independent. Off the bench, Not a ton I love. Trey Jones should be kind of that high usage player off the bench. He's okay. Bassey will play the backup big. That's fine. Shetty, my boy, has been playing well off the bench too. Finally, Golden State. Again, can we trust Steve Kerr? Well, Steve Kerr did say last 2 preseason games that they're going to ramp up the minutes. Now, the only thing I will say is, so here is the quote from Steve Kerr. Said, this is a couple days ago before the second to last preseason game, was asked if both the final games will be dress rehearsals, and he replied, at least one. Main guys got 30 to 31 minutes last game. So, what does that mean for this game tonight, right? Because they ran a dress rehearsal last game. So, I don't know, man. This one's tough. If you think that they play similar minutes to last game, then obviously Steph Curry looks great at the top, and then these other starters would look good too. Clay, Wiggins, Chris Paul. Again, we'll see if they do the starting lineup. Kuminga started last game. He played really well. Looney sat last game. What was it? Oh, it was just due to an illness. We'll see if he misses. 2 guys to benefit there. Jackson Davis and Dario Saric would both be good values if Looney does not play. But yeah, I don't really know what to do with this team because they said at least one, and we saw the dress rehearsal last game. So I could very easily see Kerr troll here and barely play the starters. All right, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up for the preseason. It's been a crazy run. I really do appreciate all your guys' support throughout the preseason. We've made a ton of money. We've had some good tilts, obviously, the last couple of days. And I'm excited for the regular season back here on Tuesday. So we got a little bit of break this weekend, and then we're back to the grind. Regular season starts up on Tuesday. Thanks again, guys, for watching. As always, if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next video.